Thanks, Ian. Want to get one of those sweet vests. That's what I need to get. Welcome back to the wrap-up. Let's talk a little bit more recruiting as we pass out of that to Big Ten recruiting. Coaches, Oregon, number 3. Ohio State, 4. 15th was Penn State. Michigan, 16th. Wisconsin, 22nd. And Nebraska, 24th. That's according to On3. You'll see different recruiting rankings all over the place. In the college football playoff rankings, Oregon is still number 1 in the CFP rankings. Penn State dropped to number 4. Ohio State moves to number 6. And the Hoosiers moved up to number 8, with Illinois in the rankings at number 20. How did you feel the bracket looked? What did you think about it? SMU getting in there, Alabama not getting in there. What did you think of the bracket?
Yeah, I think Alabama, that was a tough one. It was up to SMU and Alabama. I think I had to lean with SMU. I get the strength of schedule perspective.
You can't get dominated by Oklahoma like that.
Or
Vanderbilt.
No.
At least Vanderbilt was playing well then. Oklahoma wasn't playing well.
My biggest argument, too, is like, hey, if SEC, you want to have the gripe, why don't you go to 9 conference games, too?
Yep.
So you got to have that aspect. So I'm okay with SMU there. It's, you take the Boise over Clemson, right, in that scenario. But I tell you what, I can't wait to watch it. I mean, the Indiana going to Notre Dame, staying technically in state and just seeing how it all plays out at their home stadiums. And you could get weather at Penn State, weather at Notre Dame, weather at Ohio State. It's going to be fantastic TV here in a couple weeks.
This is probably the last time it's like this, though, right, Sean? Because if you look at what happens, Oregon's got to get the win out of Tennessee and Ohio State, which is a much tougher run than, say, a Penn State if they can knock off SMU at home and then get Boise.
Yeah, when you have the at-large bid teams, those could be your 3, 4, 5, 6 best teams.
Yep.
And I think in theory it sounded good to give the conference champions these buys.
Right.
But that was when the Big 12 had Oklahoma and Texas.
Right.
College football looked a lot different when this puzzle was created. Now, all the power and the money and the high-ranking recruits are in 2 major conferences. You can say what you want, but the Big 12 and the ACC, for the most part, recruit nowhere near the level of those 2 leagues.
Exactly.
And they have nowhere near the draft prospects. Now, there's a couple ACC teams like Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. But other than that, Notre Dame's it's on its own. I do think the SEC and the Big Ten have an argument because they do play better competition week over week.
Yeah, I kind of like Arizona State. I love Kenny Dunningham. Forks up. This week, around the Big Ten, there are 2 teams hosting first-round college football games. 12 teams made the postseason, 4 in the college football playoff, and 8 bowl bids. For the season, the Big Ten finished with a winning percentage of 77.7% of their non-conference games. Let's take a look back at the sideline survey early results. How do you see the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl turning out? 69% of the people say close Husker win. 21% say, as Sean does, a close Boston College win, and a little bit of numbers.
Don't give away the picks.
And they'll see it later. So let's talk about this game and the way it lines up a little bit because, again, I like the backup quarterback who's in there for Boston College. I think they can really run the game. But I'll tell you this. Sean said it a second ago. ACC is not the same level of competition as the Big Ten. And if you look at these bowls, a lot of times when it's ACC versus Big Ten wins these games.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And again, I think the biggest thing you come to these type of games is who wants to be here, who's appreciative of being here.
Oh, yeah, motivation.
Yes, motivation is the biggest thing. Who's going to attack these 13 to 14 practices, whatever they get, or who's going to get through them? Who's just going to kind of try to get through them because they have to, right? Who has the better attitudes? How many guys go through the portal? Obviously, that's a big thing. How many guys get injured in the 2 weeks leading up to this? But BC is a heck of a football team. Bill O'Brien's as a hell of a football coach. Respect the heck out of him. But I tell you what, it's going to be a classic. I believe a low-scoring game. Weather obviously has a ton of factors in this game, but I like Nebraska's defense against Boston College's offense in this game. I think that's where it's going to come down. Even with Nebraska losing some key guys on the defensive side of the ball, I think there's still enough there in this game that Nebraska can do some damage.
Since Grayson James took over, they're 3-1. The last 3 games, they've averaged 34 points, 227 yards passing, 4 TDs, just 1 interception, and an impressive 46.5 rushes a game.
Yeah, they run it, and they're physical in what they do, but they're efficient in the passing game. They have 24 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions through the air. They're a Bill O'Brien run offense. Bill O'Brien knows how to put together efficient offensive units. You brought up that ACC point, though. I want to go back to that. The Big Ten is 8-1 in this bowl.
Yes.
The Big Ten has won, I believe, the last 7 in a row. Duke beat years ago Indiana, and that's the only ACC win in this game. The Big Ten has dominated pinstripe bowls in its history. So there are a lot of things that favor Nebraska, but there is no history with these two teams. They've never played in the history of the program.
I can tell you there were a lot of Husker fans that wanted Bill O'Brien. When that coaching search was happening, you heard them say, oh, Bill O'Brien would be great. We'd like him. Former NFL coach. We know he did those 2 years at Penn State under really tough situations. As Matt Rule said today, he kind of, was that yesterday, saved the program a little bit at Penn State coming in and did what he did. What do you think about Bill O'Brien?
Again, I respect him. I was one of those guys that said if Nebraska would go and hire Bill O'Brien, I was all for it. Obviously, what he did with what Penn State was dealing with at the time.
Oh, yeah.
With the loss of scholarships and it was almost a death penalty essentially what they were dealing with for those years, and he was successful. Develops guys, a great offensive mind. They had tight ends coming out of those couple years that are now playing in the NFL. So his mindset, been with the Patriots, he's been with Alabama. So a well-respected coach within NFL and college, and he's going to take Boston College to some uncharted territory, I think, with that football program.
So let's talk a little portal. What do you think Nebraska, obviously long snapper, but what else do you see them targeting, and wide receiver? What do you see them targeting?
Yeah, wide receiver and linebacker are the two early priority positions we've seen Nebraska go after. Dane Key is a receiver at Kentucky, and Dykeel Shorts coached him. I expect him to visit campus probably this week. They have not hosted a portal visitor yet. That will begin Wednesday. So starting Wednesday, I think you're going to see a flood of portal prospects make their way to campus. Dana Holgorsen hinted that it could be anywhere from 20 to 30. Now, they're not going to take all 20 or 30, but Matt Rule is throwing out the number. They'd like about 15.
Right.
Maybe 7 offense, 7 defense, and a specialist. They might even look for a kicker. I mean, I think there's some quiet discussion.
Kicker or punter? They definitely did punter.
Both, possibly. Yeah. I mean, I think if do you have enough on Camden Cook to know that you can go forward? I think you can also get a punter later, too, in the spring. If you really had to find one, the right one would probably be out there.
It's always good to bring in competition. Let's look at the list of the portals leaving Nebraska, because we kind of talk about a little bit when you look at the list. How much is it trying to match up these positions in the portal?
Well, I think the quarterback one is interesting. Will they be able to find somebody else? I mean, there's a Jalen Gramstad, too. Will he come back for a 6th year? They need to get depth at that position, especially if Harburg's not there. But defensive line is the real hit spot where they've taken the most lumps. Williams Nwarni, though, now going in the portal. That should get your attention. He played for Mosey at Lee Summit North High School, former 5-star. Didn't redshirted this year at Missouri. Played only 50 snaps on the year in 4 games. That's a big priority portal name to watch.
The good news is Nebraska rotates so many defensive linemen. The problem is the majority of those guys are leaving.
Yeah, James Williams, Kai Wallen, Keona Davis, Prince Well.
Maybe we get Keona Davis to come back.
Maybe.
Speak into existence.
I love that. These guys, I look at this, you do lose some key pieces. You do play a lot, but these aren't, in my opinion, these aren't absolute game changers. These aren't guys that come in and they're not irreplaceable in my opinion. I think you can go out there and find guys that are same, if not better than those guys that step up and play. Listen, I don't want to lose players, but this is the business we're in. You got to go replace them. But Nebraska playing a ton, but they're going to find some guys now. It's an opportunity for these young players to step up here and play in developing these next 2 weeks and go prove yourself. And you can definitely do that through these bowl practices and bowl prep.
Jim on X wants to know about Nebraska having 2 linebacker coaches, an outside, inside. Do you think maybe that means they'll play more 4 linebackers?
Well, it's 2 vastly different positions. So like I played,
it's edge.
So I played in a 3-4 in the NFL.
Right.
And Mike Singletary was inside guy. We had Patrick Willis, who was in my draft class. And then we had Jason Tarver, who was our outside guy. He was well-respected mine. He was defensive coordinator at Stanford for a while with Harbaugh as well. So you have to. It's it's that edge spot that they call it the jack. Yeah. You're a stand-up defensive end, essentially.
They had an outside linebackers coach, too. It just wasn't as – I mean, they had a full-time guy. He followed Tony White to Florida State.
Gotcha.
So it's just vastly different. So you have to have 2, because it's not apples to apples. It's definitely apples to oranges.
Is going to be coaching the edge.
Simpson will take over for Jack Potenza.
Yeah. Let's talk about the secondary, though. The question is also, do you think they'll hire a cornerback coach if Butler's going to stay with the safeties, or do you think maybe somebody else helps out there?
Yeah, that's a great question because if you play a 3-3-5, that's 5 of your guys on the 11 starting positions. So you need ideally 2 people back there, and will Phil Snow, will John Butler. I mean, I think with the rules now, you can be pretty creative in adding bodies. Nebraska lost 2 coaches essentially this week, and they're going to have 3 more added in that they added in today. So I think you can be really creative, and that number of 10 that used to be limited at, you could easily get away with way more than that now, with close to 20 guys if you wanted to have a position coach and an assistant position coach like it would be in the NFL.
Terry Braden coming in from Kansas City. Your thoughts on bringing a guy in that has that background in the NFL for those young players?
Yeah, guys love it. John Blake was my defensive line coach here at Nebraska.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, right. And, he had the gift of gab. I mean, he could sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. And he spent all the time with the Cowboys with Switzer. Yeah. Obviously, he played for Switzer at Oklahoma in those days. So having that, it's like, hey, when I had Charles Haley and Leonard Lett, Leon Lett and these guys, guys want to hear that. Guys want to hear how, man, I can see you doing this on Sundays. I can see you doing this in the NFL playoffs. So recruits and college players, because that's the ultimate goal. Even though you're getting money now, the ultimate goal is to get that first NFL contract and be drafted. So guys love that. That's a huge recruiting thing, but it's also a good motivator for young players.
Sean Bob on X wants to know, has there ever been a high school Butkus Award winner in Nebraska before? Do you know?
No, not that I know
First
of.
one?
I mean, the guys that Christian beat out, I mean, they were 5-star players. So, I mean, it's a really, really prestigious award that Christian walked in here with tonight. And, I think even his own school, when he walked into Westside High School, I mean, that was a shock to everyone on Monday that he brought the Butkus, Dick Butkus' son, brings the Butkus trophy into Westside High School. I mean, that's
pretty cool.
That's a pretty surreal moment, and one I'm sure Christian's never going to forget.
We've talked about a lot of different positions, but special teams essentially probably cost them the Iowa game. Special teams may have cost other games as well. Still got to fix that, though.
Yeah, 100%. And in the Big Ten, where teams are, and it just seems like in all conferences now, the bottom and the top are coming closer together. It means it's going to be closer games, better competition. And those single score lost games that Nebraska we've got so familiar with is because of special teams, missed field goals, dropped punts, really a non-existent return game, period, whether it's a punt return or kick return. Nebraska has to flip that. You have to get explosive guys who can go kick the ball or catch the ball and make one guy miss. That's all you got to do and get vertical. You got to have a snap. Yeah. What's the most important play in football is the snap, whether on special teams or offense. You got to have guys that can do that, so you can go get that. And I think Hull's the guy, and they did have Ivano too if he deals with his injury. But Hull got some confidence. But you got to find your guys in there to get this going, because you're going to have more close games in the future, and special teams makes all the world of difference.
Speaking of special teams, Boston College is last in the ACC in punting. By the way, they're also first in penalty yards. They have the least amount of penalty yards of anybody in the ACC.
All right. It's a big Ed Foley game. He's got the ball. His brother was the quarterback for Boston College.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've got to be aggressive. I think especially with some of the depth questions that Nebraska has on defense, an X factor in this game is special teams. Can Nebraska create a play? They have been so close to outright blocking a punt this year. Carter Nelson's probably almost blocked 5 punts. When Malachi Coleman was here, he almost blocked one against Rutgers. Can they get one of those punts? Can they do something in that area of the game?
Yeah, and you get all this time, too. Look for a lot of fake punts.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of double reverses on kickoff returns. You get all sorts of different stuff you can throw in there to mix it up, because you got all these extra practices, and you got to find something else to do besides, bang your head against the wall with some of your young development players, even though they need it, trust me. But you can find some unique scenarios with the special teams.
Oh, so you got Harburg there. You meant double pass,
or
stuff like that as well. So that's certainly something you can see with all. Whenever coaches have time, especially offensive coaches, they're going to come up with some crazy stuff and try to get to that. Let's go to burning questions. What do you got, Sean?
Burning question for me is, what will portal month look like for Nebraska? These next 2 weeks really will kind of define the roster. And one other note, we'll learn the schedule tomorrow. So at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, we'll get a better roadmap of what Nebraska's Big Ten schedule is going to look like for 2025.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the motivation is for both teams heading into this game. I think I've hit on it numerous times, but who wants to be there? Who attacked these practices? Who wanted to get better? Who's appreciative? Who wants to go see New York and just and be involved? I think both teams are going to be there. That's why I think it's going to be such a good game at 11 a.m. on December 28th. So I'm just excited to see those two things play out and see how that cookie crumbles.
Sean stole my burning question, because the third most important day in the Big Ten, behind the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State, Michigan, the game, is now when they put the schedule out. Will you have more of the bottom teams in the conference or more of the top teams? Can you avoid the top 4 or 5 like in Indiana did, only playing one of them? It's an important day for Nebraska and for the rest of the Big Ten tomorrow.